Hello everybody. So I just picked up one of these, I guess you'd call it a Chinese excavator. This particular one is made by FF Industrial. I'm sure that they're all pretty similar. This is the FF12, which is supposed to be a 1.2 ton unit. That may be a little optimistic, but it might not. I've run it now for about 4 hours, and you know what? It's not bad. I got this one from an auction, so I don't know anything about the import process, but I see a lot of these at auctions now, and I got a pretty good deal, I think, so I picked one up. So let's start with at the beginning. The travel speed is extremely slow. Mind you, I'm used to a Bobcat E35, which moves pretty good. It's a 2-speed. Extremely slow. But once you get where you're going, I've been pretty impressed with the strength of this thing. It'll tip itself over before it runs out of power. The curl strength is probably the weakest thing, but the boom and the stick are both extremely strong, and even the curl's not bad. The drive hydraulics are way too fast. They engage very suddenly. I'm not the hugest fan of that. But you know, the actual excavating control hydraulics are pretty good. They're a little quick. You can turn the RPMs down. It's not too bad. The blade hydraulics also too fast in my opinion. I might have to turn them down or something. This one has a 13 horse Briggs & Stratton in it. As you may notice, it's a motor in a box. It does have airflow holes in it, but I find it gets quite hot, and I did have some overflowing hydraulic fluid at one point because it got too hot. It did come from the factory quite full, so that might have something to do with it. These machines come with CAT controls, or SAE. I prefer Deere controls or ISO, just because that's what I'm used to. Drove a lot of backhoe, and the other excavator I use is Deere controls as well. They come with some weird grease fittings, pin grease fittings, so I've replaced all that, and that's all gone. I mean, other than that, can't complain really for the price. Like a comparable Kubota machine of this size is in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 times, maybe 5 times more expensive. So overall, I'm pretty impressed. And I thought for a test, I would dig up some trees. The bigger tree I dug up was here, and I didn't tape it. But I still have this other little tree to dig up. It's probably 8 inches or 8 to 9 inches at the base. So, you know, decent challenge for this little guy. So we will see how it goes. Okay, so there you go. Didn't really take all that long, and I had a good time. And it still works, so that's good, because, you know, I was a little nervous buying something seemingly built so cheap. But you know what? The cylinders seem fine. It's got a Briggs & Stratton 13 horsepower, so I can get parts anywhere, basically. It probably has off-the-shelf hydraulic motors, so I mean, probably pretty easy to fix, even if something does go wrong. And I mean, you saw, made sure it worked with that little tree. The bigger tree I took out took me probably pretty close to half an hour, but that was more like a 14-inch tree, so it's to be expected. So to summarize, I mean, overall, pretty good. Runs hot. I might put a hydraulic cooler or something in it just to cool it down. You can tell it's really hot. Your bum gets hot. When I open to put gas in it, it's really hot. It's maybe not meant for such intense use, but that's what I'm going to do with it. So we'll see. It's got a mechanical thumb. You can get kits for hydraulic thumbs for these, reasonably cheap. So I probably will be doing that. The actual boom, stick, and bucket controls are decently smooth. The boom's kind of rough, but I mean, you can turn the idle down, but then it loses even more power on the curl. So I'm not a fan of that. I mean, yeah, the grease fittings, a little minor hydraulic leak, but for 6,200 Canadian dollars, which is what, like 4 something American, who's to complain? It's got auxiliary hydraulic. I mean, we'll see. Unless it fails in the first 100 hours, I'd say money well spent. I'll make my money back on this thing in maybe 4 or 5 jobs. So overall, I recommend. Have a great day.